If you're a solo consultant, the wrong CRM will not make you more organized.
It will just give you another place to lose leads. Pipedrive and Notion can both work as a consultant CRM, but they solve very different problems.
Pipedrive moves deals through a sales pipeline. Notion is better when you need a flexible client operating system. So the real question is not which tool has more features. The real question is, where is your lead-to-client workflow breaking?
In this video, we are not doing a feature tour.
We are using a consultant workflow to decide which system fits which problem.
That keeps the comparison practical instead of turning it into another generic software review.
A useful CRM for consultants has one job: protect the next step between a lead and a paid client. A lead comes in. You qualify them.
You book a discovery call.
You send a proposal. You follow up. They become won, lost, or parked. Then, if they sign, they move into onboarding. If your CRM cannot move a lead through that path, it is not really a CRM. It is just a database. And this is where Pipedrive and Notion split. Notice that this workflow includes both sales and delivery. Many consultants mix those two into one messy place, then blame the tool. But before you choose software, you need to know whether the leak happens before the client signs or after the client signs. Pipedrive wins when your problem is sales motion. If you have several active leads, proposals in progress, calls to book, and follow-ups to remember, you need a pipeline that keeps pushing the next action forward. A simple Pipedrive setup for a consultant could have stages like new lead, qualified, discovery booked, proposal sent, follow-up, won, and lost. This is useful because sales work is mostly about movement. A lead should not sit in your inbox waiting for you to remember it. It should have a stage, a deadline, and a next action attached to it. A good pipeline also reduces emotional guessing. You do not have to ask, "Did I already follow up with this prospect?" The system answers that question for you. That matters because the deal is not just stored somewhere. It has a stage, a value, a next activity, and a clear follow-up. For consultants who sell through calls and proposals, this is the main advantage. Pipedrive makes the sales process visible. The caveat is simple: Pipedrive is not where I would build a full client portal, detailed delivery workspace, or custom operating system. It is strongest before the sale. The practical test is this: if you open your CRM on Monday morning, can you see exactly who needs attention this week? If yes, the CRM is doing its job. If no, it is just another list. This matters even more when you are selling retainers or high-ticket consulting. One forgotten follow-up can mean one lost month of revenue. Notion wins when the problem is context and delivery. If you have a low volume of leads, but every client has notes, calls, proposals, onboarding tasks, files, and deliverables, Notion can be a better home base. A simple Notion setup can include a lead database, call notes, proposal status, an onboarding checklist, and a client dashboard. This becomes especially useful when your service is not a simple one-call transaction. If every client needs context, notes, a plan, assets, and a delivery checklist, Notion can hold the operational side better than a pure sales CRM. The trade-off is that Notion will not enforce discipline by default. You must design the views, keep the statuses clean, and avoid turning the workspace into a junk drawer. This is not the same as a dedicated sales CRM. Notion will not force pipeline discipline by itself. But it is flexible. You can design the client workspace around how you actually deliver your service. The caveat is that flexibility has a cost. If you overbuild Notion, you create a second job maintaining the system. The practical test for Notion is different. Can you open one client page and understand what was promised, what was discussed, what is missing, and what must happen next? If yes, Notion is helping. If no, the flexibility has turned into clutter. This is why Notion works best for consultants who are willing to keep the structure simple and repeatable, instead of redesigning the workspace every week. Here is the simplest decision framework. Choose Pipedrive if follow-ups are slipping, sales stages are unclear, your revenue depends on discovery calls, or you need a CRM to drive pipeline discipline. Choose Notion if client context is scattered, onboarding is messy, delivery needs structure, or you want one lightweight workspace for notes, tasks, and client pages. Use both only if both sides are already broken. Pipedrive can handle sales. Notion can handle delivery. But do not connect both tools on day one just because it looks elegant. Complexity will hurt more than it helps. This is the KISS rule for the whole video: do not build an elegant two-tool system until one simple system is clearly not enough. The goal is not automation for its own sake. The goal is fewer dropped leads and fewer messy handoffs. If you are unsure, ask one question: what would save more money this month, better follow-up before the sale, or better organization after the sale? That answer tells you where to start. For Pipedrive, the minimum useful setup is a clear pipeline, a deal value, a lead source, a next activity, and a follow-up task. You should be able to open the pipeline and immediately know who needs a call, who needs a proposal, and who needs a follow-up. For Notion, the minimum useful setup is a lead database, a client page, call notes, proposal status, an onboarding checklist, and delivery tasks. A CRM is not supposed to impress you. It is supposed to make the next action obvious. Do not start with automations, dashboards, or complex integrations. Start with statuses and next actions. Once those are reliable, then you can decide if reminders, templates, or integrations are worth adding. Once the next action is visible every day, then the rest of the system becomes easier to improve. Without that, more features only hide the problem. So the best CRM for consultants is not the one with the most features. It is the one that protects the next step between lead and paid client. If leads are dying before the sale, start with Pipedrive. If the mess starts after the sale, start with Notion. If both are broken, separate the system: Pipedrive for sales, Notion for delivery. If you want the simple version, download the consultant CRM checklist below. It gives you the exact stages to set up before choosing or connecting any tool. The checklist is intentionally tool agnostic. You can use it before Pipedrive, before Notion, or before any other CRM, because the workflow has to be clear before the software matters.